Greetings, this is the Question GM. So this is the regular monthly update for the Quest log for April 2020. This will most likely be a very short update because nothing much has changed since the situation I reported in the March Quest log video. Our movement control order has basically was extended throughout the entire month of March and April. I think there was two extensions that was announced for as long as 2 weeks each. So the entire month of April was basically just everyone staying home and keeping up with social distancing and keeping a very tight monitoring of activities to do the essentials like grocery runs and all that. It hasn't been very brutal in terms of affecting my livelihood as of right now. But the cases have cases of reported cases of COVID-19 has been fluctuating between ups and downs, but we are starting to see there is actually a slowing down, we could say, of cases, although we just had about 100 over cases reported I think a couple of days ago. The effects of social distancing and movement control seems to be showing signs as well, at least according to our government officials. But as for the period of April, it was basically an entire month of everyone just staying home. So naturally that means that equals to no sort of gaming activity of any kind that happened throughout April, and it was sort of expected that this would happen. So I'm not really having any not bearing any grudges that things are going slow and quiet for so long, because things happen. I mean, these things happen for a reason, so to speak. But as of May, as of the time of this video is being made, we are actually entering, I believe it's the final week of our last extension. We are not, I'm personally not sure if the government will continue another extension into the Hari Raya season, because it's currently now the fasting month of Ramadan. It's quite likely that the government may extend it past the Hari Raya season just to keep everyone safe. But in the same time, the government actually has sort of loosened the movement control order quite a fair bit, I think, because they've basically allowed businesses to reopen as long as they maintain or they stick into certain SOPs in the case of reopen and allowing customers into their doors. Many businesses have been very eager on the chance to reopen, from shops, food stalls, and even malls. Some malls actually have decided to reopen their doors. With the recent loosening of conditions, there's obviously some backlash towards that decision. But I think it's a more of an economical reason for the loosening of these restrictions rather than a public health concern. But we'll see how it goes, and it's still more important for each and every one of us to keep safe in the measure and standards that we want to be, rather than allowing ourselves to be exposed to any kind of danger or any kind of risk that we don't want to. So that's pretty much how April is, and I'm still expecting pretty much the same to happen for at least a good half of May. Whether that means any sort of resuming of any gaming activity, it will be something that I have no power to control over, and I'm still not interested in moving my gaming activities onto an online platform, not in any capacity or form anytime soon. I guess that pretty much leaves the only thing left to talk about for the month is actually what's been happening on the channel. And I'm kind of glad to report that the channel has actually picked up quite a bit. I've been making a new series of videos called the RPG Study Hour, if you've been following, which is basically a 1 hour live stream, an edited stream for 1 hour of me reading a RPG rule set. So the rule set that I picked up was actually the Star Trek Adventures Quick Start Guide from Modiphius, using the 2D20 system. I've already done I did about 2 videos in April, and I've already done another 2 more in May, and I'm actually planning to finish up the last video maybe sometime this month. So yeah, it was initially a six video plan turned into 5 videos because I managed to save some time, squeezing some content into one longer video, instead of regulating the six. So this has actually been one of my want to do series. It's part of the reason why I got a new rig. It's part of the reason why I got into OBS, and things seems to be working out quite well actually, in terms of the setup. Even without an actual dedicated microphone, and even without an actual dedicated webcam. But those are some investments I'm planning to make pretty much soon. Hopefully, as soon as the whole movement control order is lifted and everything resumes back to normal, and I can actually visit shops and actually buy them, whether offline or online. But I much prefer buying them offline at this stage. But as a result, because I've been busy with the RPG Study Hour, obviously I've not been making any prep quest videos for Out the Abyss, and it's something I'm intending to remedy for May. I've sort of put myself on the back foot in terms of work. Well, not in my day job, but my freelancing work. I decided maybe I need to take a little bit of time off because I was struggling a lot in terms of productivity when I was doing my freelancing writing. I can speak from my own personal experience that staying at home does not help at all in terms of productivity when it comes to side hustles, which is strange because I thought it would have been the reverse, but experience speaks for itself. So taking time off from my side hustles is giving me a bit more focus to work on the channel, and I'm planning to make up all the prep quest videos that I've been missing out, which is, I believe, is chapter 13 and chapter 14. So I'm actually already 2 behind, and I'm due for one, what would have been the second last chapter, I believe, for, yeah, I believe it's, oh no, I think I think it's the third last chapter before the end of the Out the Abyss series, which I was intending to end at some time, I think in June or July. So I have a lot of content to make up for in terms of the prep quest videos. And if this MCO things gets further extended, I believe I should have plenty of time to really dedicate the entire month of May just to work on prep quest videos after I'm done with the RPG Study Hour, which is down to 1 video left. There may be an extension, there may be an additional video after the last video for Star Trek Adventures, because I typically don't do the adventure section of the quick start guides to be included in the RPG Study Hour, because that's more about prep work rather than reading up on rule sets. Although I'm starting to have the suspicion that I might include that adventure section of the adventure section into its own video, because there may be some rule explanations or clarifications that's been done there, or at least some examples of it that is found in the adventure in itself rather than in the rule section itself. So I may explore that a little bit, but as of now, I'm only looking and doing one more RPG Study Hour video before I move on and start fully dedicating myself into the prep quest videos. I can't say for sure if I will be able to make all 3 prep quest videos that I'm due, but I would like to do at least 2. The ones that I've owned since March. It feels a little good that even as my participation with the Out the Abyss DMs group on Facebook, some people still talk about, some people do know about the prep quest series. So that just gives me a little bit more motivation to really want to finish the series for the benefit of everyone. And once I've done with Out the Abyss, I will start looking ahead into what is there any other adventures that I want to do for prep quest. And at the same time, I may fall into changing the format of prep quest videos, maybe, or because my initial conception of the prep quest videos was actually something that was more akin to the RPG Study Hour. I could do a prep quest hour, which is just basically open 1 hour live stream of prepping, and keep prep quest as its own separate, more tutorial based or more summarized based video of what's actually happening in an adventure. I don't know. Those are really very distant plans at this moment. As of now, I'm just trying to stick to finishing the prep quest videos that I want to that I promised that I I won't say promise, but that I want to make, and get on and finish it and then decide what to do from next. So is there any other plans for May? I'm not sure. Like I said, depending on how our movement control order is extended or not, or is announced or not. The optimistic side would be to say that it may end within May, whether it's before the Hari Raya season or after the Hari Raya season. Then I can go back and resume my D&D 5th edition campaign for Expedition to the Demon White Pits, which I actually have been putting aside for quite a long time. I think I've barely touched the prep for maybe a month now, and maybe that's given me some time to really think things through and reorganize a few things here and there, and to really put into focus what I really need to do. But I will not be really paying much attention to prepping for that campaign at the moment until there is a confirmed time frame of when I can actually continue the next game. The worst possible situation would probably be resuming the campaign sometime in June. So I'll only talk about it probably in the May questlog video, of if that's even possible. Other than that, after I'm done with Star Trek Adventures, I'm not sure if I'm going to move on to the next quick start that I have in mind. Maybe not for the rest of May, but it might be a bit better to plan ahead and see, is there a next quick start that I want to get into. It could be another D2 D20 system, because I have a few, or maybe an entire rule set altogether. In a potentially positive way for the RPG study hour to be a bit more interesting, I could actually get into the full rule set of Star Trek Adventures. Get the actual core of rulebook, because they're actually having it on sale on Bundle of Holding for. I would say the price is pretty steep for what we have to pay in Malaysian ringgit. But it obviously is more about the value of money rather than what you have to pay for. But I will have to admit it's a little bit steep for what we are getting in the Bundle of Holding this time. But if I do get into that, then I will have the full rule set of Star Trek Adventures, and then maybe I can continue doing the RPG study hour, fully dedicating itself to the core rules. So that will be another very, very long running series, and I'm not sure if that's it would inevitably take my attention away from D&D 5e, and really paying a lot more attention and focus on 2D20 Star Trek Adventures. It's not a path that I expected to take. I will say that it was a lot of coincidence that when I started doing the Star Trek Adventures Quick Start Guide, Bundle of Holding came out with an offer just about my second video, I believe, or my first video. So yeah, things, stars align in very, very weird ways. So yeah, that's about it, I could say. I think May is just going to be it's hopefully going to be a very productive month for the channel. Definitely not in terms of gaming, until all things settle down and calm down a bit. So I would say that should be it. That should be all the things that I want to talk about in this questlog video for April 2020. Hopefully I'll see you all very soon. So this is the Questing GM signing out for now, and I'll see you in the next one. Good night.